Welcome to the Reps for Vets podcast. My name is Brendon Brown, the founder and director of Reps for Vets. Reps for Vets' mission is very clear and straight to the point. We're here to fight against veteran suicide. And the way we do that is we offer a peer-to-peer element of veterans working with veterans in a non-clinical environment where we work out and offer peer support, along with connecting veterans to any mental health support outside of our program to help save lives one rep at a time. If you'd like to support our ministry, please like and subscribe and hit the link in the bio. But even better, if you want to get some merch and help save lives one rep at a time, please do so. Thank you. God bless. Enjoy the podcast. All right, guys, I'm Brendon, the founder and director of Reps for Vets. Welcome back to our podcast. Here we have Justin Rascón. He was one of our alumni of our Reps for Vets program when we first got the ball rolling, one of our first 60 out of our 180 graduates. Justin, can you tell us a little bit of who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, my name is Justin Rascón. I grew up here in El Centro. I did some time in the military, served 4 years in the United States Air Force from 2016 to 2020. And in 2021, I met Brendon, and that's where this whole relationship kind of kicked off.
So can you tell us a little bit about your transition from military to civilian life, what you experienced?
Yeah, when I was getting out, it was the height, or COVID had just kicked off. It was May of 2020. I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do because I was security forces, I was military police. I wanted to still stay in the law enforcement field, but at the time when COVID was kicking off, like nobody was really hiring. Schools were closing down, so like education wasn't an option for me at that point. And there was a lot of like mental health issues that I was dealing with as I was getting out. And so I made the decision that I was just going to go home and spend time with my family in the meantime and just make sure that they're taken care of and kind of catch up on the missed opportunities of time with them after being in the military for a while. It made me realize, the military made me realize how much my family was important to me and how much I needed to like spend that time with them because of how finite it is in this life. Mm-hmm. And so came home, and then around November of 2020, my mom told me about you and the Reps for Vets program, and I kind of like juggled the idea for a little while, and I was like, no, it's not for me. I don't know. Maybe I don't deserve it. And, that's that mental health stuff that's playing into it. But, eventually I reached out.
What do you think inspired her to suggest the program to you?
She could tell that when I got out of the military, I was just a shell of like the person that I was. When I was before the military, I was like this happy-go-lucky kid. Like there was nothing that could break that spirit. I was funny, like I was laughing all the time. I was having a good time with my friends. And when I got out of the military, I was like just this like serious, like didn't know how to smile anymore. Didn't want to conversate, didn't want to open up about anything. I just wanted to like fade away into the shadows and like nobody really care about what happened or where I was going in life.
Wow, yeah, that definitely sounds like a rough transition and a familiar transition that a lot of us deal with coming out of the military. And it's one with the mental health, we tend to self-isolate as, a coping mechanism of depression. Mm-hmm. And then to be hit with the pandemic on top of it, to be forced into that isolation even more, that exacerbates the condition so much more. And, I remember, when you first reached out and you came into the program, I remember the first time meeting you at the front desk. I saw you walk in and you had a man bun, big beard, the typical 1 year veteran, haven't shaved in a year.
Exactly.
And I remember within like the first 30 seconds of talking to you, I mentioned to you about Jesus, and you looked me dead in my eye, like, man, it's not really my thing, not really interested. I'm just here to work out. And I was like, cool, and, I was just here to just meet you where you're at. What I'm saying? We don't really push that. So can you tell me a little bit about your experience in the program when you first started, for the 12 weeks. So let's say like your first month, your second month, and your third month, like how that went for you, and what you experienced through the program.
Yeah, I the first month was very it was very uncomfortable for me. Because at this point I had not really worked out as much as that. Of course, getting out of the military, all I did was play video games, drink with my friends. Like I didn't do any of the good things I should have been doing for myself. And um it was hard to transition, especially like the first 2 weeks. Like my body was sore all the time. And I was just like, man, this feels awful. Like
And we were doing little lightweight, right?
yes,
Lightweight, high
and
reps.
yeah, and like I could just feel like every time I came to the gym, I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not built this way. Again, it's that mental health of like playing into what I'm saying, the mental block of
Self-sabotage.
self-sabotage. I don't deserve this. This is not who I am. This is not the kind of person I am. I was never built this way. Like all those thoughts just kept circulating. But at the same time, it was cool to see you show up every day and dedicate your time and put in your effort. Yeah, I was like, well, okay, somebody believes in me. Maybe right now I don't, but that's okay. Maybe I'll get there. We'll see what happens, you know? And you kept showing up and you kept pushing me to come here and telling me like, dude, you're good. You're good. Like we had a lot of pep talks where I was like, dude, like I don't deserve any of this. Like nobody should love me the way that you were caring for me, you know? And just like one day, it just maybe not one day, but like a week where it just like everything just changed. Cause it had to have been like the second month where like I was starting to enjoy it, where I was coming here, where I looked forward to getting my butt kicked. You know, I looked forward to getting that PR.
Exactly.
Because it's these little successes, these little milestones that I kept reaching, and it was like almost like a stimulation, or it's almost a response to stimulation. And you're constantly setting a goal every week and then meeting it, and setting a goal every week and meeting it. And so I kept feeling like I was succeeding in life. And it was like those little victories where it's like, okay, now I'm getting I'm getting up in the morning to make my bed, to meal prep my foods, to listen to what you have to say, you know, help you with your program, figure out what my mom or my dad needs, or something that my sister needs, you know, start feeling like, okay, people are pouring their love into me. Let me do that for the other people around me too. And it was like that butterfly effect, man. Like it completely changed everything.
Amen. Amen. And a lot of those intrusive thoughts that you're having too, you know, the self-sabotage and things like that, you know, it's the mental health thing. And then on the spiritual side, that's also the enemy lying to you, telling you that you're not good enough and all this stuff. And I always remembered, like, I didn't really push into like the church thing and stuff, but I always was like, you know, Jesus loves you, man. Like he saved me, he can save you too. I always just kind of just let you know that. And when we do something difficult and we accomplish it, it sets a tone in our brain of confidence and being able to slowly establish, like, I could do this. Like, I believe we have to get uncomfortable to grow, and doing something difficult every day and watching you transition. I'm a big believer on applying yourself through difficult things to be happier on the inside. That an easy life doesn't make you a strong person. You know what I'm saying? And to force yourself to go through these situations is what helped you with that transition of giving you the confidence of saying, you know what, I can do this. And as much as I was loving into you, all I wanted to do was show you how to love yourself, you know? And the most beautiful part of our program is this, how you said it was about a month in, on the second month, how week 4 to 6, there's such a beautiful transition with these guys. And that's my why, is when you guys go from, you come in with your head down and then you start seeing the weight progress, and then your head is up and your chest is out, you know, and you start getting so confident through it.
Yeah.
And especially how you said how you started applying the discipline in the gym to your everyday life and things at home. because it's more than just a workout. It's actually taking what you know and applying that discipline to everything, and how you wanted to help out your family. And you went from pretty much isolating in your room to, hey, dad, you need help with something? Hey, like now you have this extra energy that you're putting out and you're loving on to other people too, which is who you were the whole time. What do you think it was about the military that took that away from you?
I think that my expectations for the military were very high, and that the career field that I went into just didn't fulfill that for me. Like, I wanted something that was way more intense. I wanted something to, like, you hear the stories about the military where people are like, I traveled the world, I went to combat, I did this and that and the other, right? And my experience was going to Texas, doing some training, getting yelled at for a little while, and then going to Turkey, where I was just close enough to understand what it was like, but it wasn't the intensity that I was looking for. And on top of that, a lot of the mental health issues that I had already had at that point, the military just like turned it to 10. Like, it just, everything came out and just started to manifest itself in like all the problems, all the lack of confidence that I had. Man, dude, it was like in your face, like, Justin, you're not going to make it. This is not for you. You're not meant for this. You're nothing. And it just kept feeling like that. It kept feeling like that. And when those thoughts kept coming up like that, there's that period in time where you're like, you could tell yourself like, no, that's not true. Like, I'm better than that. Like, I know that's not true. I have all these other reasons to prove why. But when it continues for months, for years, like, you get conditioned to it.
Yeah.
And you start to listen to it. You're like, yeah, you're right. I am I'm this, that, and the other. I'm not the greatest person in the world. I shouldn't be here. Why am I doing this? Do I even deserve this? Am I allowed to have this? Like, yeah, man, that's what happened.
Do you think some of that stemmed from the leadership that you had, having because a lot of times with veterans I have in the program, they have very toxic leadership, and it's the leaders that don't build correctly. They kind of, it's not about being empathetic. It's about being a good leader to push people to be better than they are. And I hear so many stories of just terrible leaders, and you start kind of believing what they tell you. So do you think that could be part of what you had going on?
Yes. Yeah. Again, the military world compared to the civilian world is like a completely different thing. When you have, and I will say, Turkey was like a base that's not meant for first year airmen. It is not. It's a party base. So like, you're going out to work with these guys and you're addressing them as Sergeant so-and-so, Staff Sergeant so-and-so. But then on the weekends, you're going to block parties with them and getting absolutely hammered, drunk, and calling them by their first name.
Yeah.
Now you're on a first name basis with these people. Me being on a first name basis with my flight chief, that's not a good thing. Yeah, right?
Fraternizing.
Yes. And then I come into work and then I say his first name to him and he's like, would you just call me? Absolutely not. We're not. And so like, it has like this like disconnect of like what is real and what isn't, and what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do. And like, that affects a young kid. I was 19 years old. I was 19, 20 years old. Like, I didn't know anything. And even now I still don't know anything.
So, hearing you talk about Turkey reminds me very much of my first duty station. Originally, when I was in basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, I came down on orders for Germany. And we were supposed to go to Germany, be there for 30 days, and go straight to Iraq. And being an M1 Abrams crewman tanker, where you're going through 17 weeks of basic of getting ready for combat, it's what more can you ask for? We're going to get a month of partying in Germany and going right to war. We were all gun ho.
Yeah.
And some guys had different orders for different places, but we literally look at each other in the hallway and be like, Germany. Like, we were just so stoked to go, man. And when I graduated, I had Apache lobe pneumonia. I almost passed out on stage. I had like 104-degree fever. So literally, we graduated on a Friday. That Saturday morning, the Germany guys flew out. I wasn't allowed to fly because I had a fever and I had to stay. And I had to get the peanut butter shot, the penicillin shot, and they kept me for another week and my orders changed to Camp Casey, Korea.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
So I was pretty bummed. Went to Korea, and literally my first weekend. So the first 30 days, you're not allowed to go off base by yourself. You have to be out with an NCO. And like you said, I had this picture of the military being this perfect. Everyone follows the rules, integrity, selfless service, indomitable spirit, patriotism, you know? And I had a signing bonus that came in, and these sergeants from a different platoon took me out. And the things that they showed me, we were by the DMZ, so it was kind of third world. And we went out, and I've never consumed so much alcohol in one night of my life. And this was with my leadership. Show me like this behavior was okay.
Yes.
And it was nuts. Like
Yeah.
it was nuts. The things that I saw, I don't want to get too detailed, but it was wild.
Yeah.
And there were times where we would literally on a Wednesday go out, drink till the morning. PT was at 6. We'd get back at like 4, put on our PTs, go outside where formation was, and just pass out on the concrete so we're not late to formation and we're already in our PTs.
Oh my God.
It was wild with my sergeants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so going through that, it just showed, and not all privates were able to do that with the sergeant. So there was like a separation of like the cool privates and not cool privates.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the ones that would, the ones that don't snitch, like the ones that are like the real ones. And there was a club pretty much. There was a club.
The Good Boys Club.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you weren't in that club, your life was hard. Yes. And if you were in that club, then you were pretty much good. But at the same time, coming from the life that I did previous to the military, from substance abuse and things of that sort, there were guys that were like pushing Percocets and getting people off of drug tests and things like that, so they'd have to do UAs. So I was just like, I thought this was this crispy clean system, but I realized that it's just like anywhere else.
Yeah.
And the thing that took me probably 4 years to realize was just because we wear the same uniform doesn't mean we have the same goals.
Yes.
Because in the military, we become very trauma bonded. So, for example, I had a guy that I went through basic with. We were roommates in Korea together. We left Korea. We went to Fort Lewis together. We had apartments next to each other. He ended up being the godfather of my son. We deployed to Afghanistan together, and we had some stuff go down in Afghanistan. 2 different situations. He got in trouble for something, and then a few months later, I got in trouble for something. Right. And his was a little worse because he lied. I didn't lie. I told the truth. And he got the full end, man. He got kicked out of the platoon, sent to a different company and everything. I got banned from promotion or awards for 6 months. And when I got home, I pinned sergeant. And his spouse was an officer and was able to look at the records. And even though he's the godfather of my child, they were raising questions like, why isn't he getting punished? Why isn't this? And I did get a punishment. I couldn't get awards or anything for 6 months. But here's the guy that I'm thinking is my best friend, and he's trying to take me out. Yeah. You know what I mean? And but at the end of the day, my integrity is what saved me, because my whole platoon tried covering for me for what happened. I was like, no, guys, I'm gonna take the hit. I don't want to get in trouble. And I did. And so it's definitely, everyone has different military experiences, but it's definitely a wild ride for sure.
Yeah.
And to transition home and to try and come back, like, long story short, home's just never the same again.
No, it's not. You get home and you're like, what did I just experience? Like that 4 years felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Like I even now thinking about like all the nights that I went out with the different people and the different stupidity that I saw.
Reckless behavior.
And then the other thing too is like, when you get taught at a young age like that that behavior is okay, man, it is really, really hard to get a good sense of accountability of yourself.
Yes.
When you're older.
Yes. We're sponges at that point.
Yes. I'm soaking in all these different points of perspective of like, oh, hey, this is how you're supposed to do the job.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it this way because it's way easier and I'm lazy today.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, that's the standard.
Yes.
It's
like you're corporately getting groomed.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the other thing too is I know the Army's more of a military branch. The Air Force is ran like a corporation.
Sure.
Like they care about your appearance and your awards and like how you're performing and how you interact with your peers and like they got an HR department.
Yeah, right.
You know, and they're also in the same uniform as me, and they're telling me, "Hey, Rascón, you can't be saying that stuff to your coworkers." And I'm like, I don't care.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and that, again, me at 20, 21 years old, like saying that kind of stuff, like, dude, that's not okay.
Yeah. I'll abbreviate it for the sake of the podcast. But when I first got to my unit, my platoon sergeant, Staff Sergeant Gomez, Puerto Rican dude from Philadelphia, hard as nails. My nickname was the slandered F word that you would say towards homosexuals.
Yes.
That was my name. Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, come here, F word. Hey, come here, F word.
Yeah.
And then after I was like, got promoted and I was like cool with the platoon, then I was at SOB. Come here, you SOB. And that was completely normal behavior. You know what I'm saying? It was just, you had to have a thick skin, bro. You know, plain and simple. And then when you get out and you try and work with civilians and you have that mentality, I was in for 8 years. So from 21 to 29. So my brain grew up in that too. So it was very difficult. And then being a tank commander and NCO, I remember one of my first career, I did executive protection, which was kind of paramilitary. So everyone kind of had the same mindset. But I became a gym manager, and I had a guy. I asked him to change the paper towels because the paper towels were out, and I went to check if he changed the paper towels or not, and he didn't. And he was taking his lunch break before he changed the paper towels. And I went in the break room and I started like knife handing, like, why do you change the paper towels? You think your lunch is more important? Like, I started wigging. He's like, well, I have to take my break. I was going to do it after my break. And I was like, okay. Like, and like, I started like wigging. Yeah. And I stepped back and I was like, whoa, dude, like, this isn't how the rest of the world works.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But that's how I was raised, man. You know what I mean? Like, I was raised very heavy-handed, if you will, you know?
Yeah.
So with that being said, you know, coming home, kind of trying to get back to normal, feeling the isolation of just mental health, then compiled with the pandemic, and then you come into our program. You're learning how to, it was hard at first. You start transitioning into the fitness, learning how to do things. At what point through the program did you really start seeing a change, and what did that do to help you with the future?
So I did the program for 3 months. I would say that around the end of the second month that my, the mindset of how I wanted to tackle life was starting to, it was evolving. I was seeing, I felt stronger on the inside. I felt more energetic. You know, every time I left the gym and I looked outside, the world seemed a little bit brighter. You know, you have like those moments where your body just feels so good. You know, and if all those endorphins are dumping inside, and
the pump,
exactly. And then I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, instead of the mindset is like, instead of being like, damn, I look awful, I'm like, yeah, I'm not in the best shape as I would like to be, but I'm looking all right. You know, I'm flexing in the mirror, I'm looking good. I know you kept telling me, it's not how you look, it's how you feel.
Yes.
I do remember that.
Yes.
But I just couldn't get over the way I started to look. I'm gonna lie to you.
I always tell people, it's not how you look, it's how you feel. But when you have lots of feelings, you end up looking pretty good.
Yeah. And so, at that point, it occurred to me that, well, if I've been stopping myself from working out and feeling like I didn't deserve it, like, what else can I do? What else am I capable of? What have I been holding myself back on this entire time? You know, all these opportunities in my life have presented themselves, and I kept saying that I didn't deserve it. You know, what else can I do? And, you know, I started to, you know, look into school, even though I told myself when I was in the military, I was like, I am never going to go to school. And look how things ended up.
Right. Can you tell me more about that? So, you know, you're from Imperial Valley, you join the Air Force, you come back, you're stuck in this rut. You go from absolutely despising coming to the gym to getting to the point where you start loving the challenge. You know, you start feeling inspired. You go from looking at yourself in the mirror, not liking who you see, to being proud of yourself, right? Which is the whole point of Reps for Vets, is to give you for you to love yourself, man, is really what it comes down to see that you're worth it. And so you want to start going to schools. So you go from pretty much stuck in your room playing video games to what happens next. What do you do for school? Because most people, they'll go to IVC, they go to San Diego.
Yeah.
What did you end up doing?
I took a vacation for myself in 2021. Went to Colorado. I absolutely fell in love with the state, and I told myself that I am going to find whatever way I can to get out here and move here because it was so beautiful to me. You know, a 1 week trip, and I was just enchanted with the way that Colorado looks. It's so beautiful there. And so I found a nursing program out of the community college. I did everything that they asked me to do. I was like, I don't care what hoops you want me to jump through. I'm going to do it. Nobody's going to stop me. And I did. In January 2022, I moved out to Colorado, moved out to Colorado Springs. I started school. I was there for about a year and a half, and then I moved to Denver. And I, instead of doing the nursing program in Colorado Springs, I decided to go for the university program that they had out there because it was like one of the top programs there. And again, I had this moment where I was sitting in class. I was in a chemistry class. And I was sitting around, 18, 19-year-old kids, and I'm 26, right? And they're all like, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a PA. I'm going to be PT or a physical therapist or OT or whatever, right? And I was like looking around, like, well, I just want to be a nurse. Like, I don't got goals like that. I don't care. And then I clicked in my head where I was like, well, am I limiting myself? Am I holding myself back? Am I capable of more? Because at this point, I was a straight A student. I was a 4.0 student for like 9 semesters straight.
That's awesome.
And I was like looking around and like, I'm seeing these kids struggling. They're also not putting in the same amount of work that I would. Cause I was like, I don't care how long it takes. I will stay up all freaking night until I understand this. Because again, that work ethic before even doing that was all built up. That discipline of like, no, this is too hard for me. Like, I'm just going to worry about this later. It was more like, I'm going to understand it, whether somebody likes it or not. And I'm not going to stop until I figure it out, And that's how it's been every semester.
Amen.
And again, that's from doing the program because I know myself. I would have never had that like mental fortitude to put myself through something like that. And it feels like every time I sign up for a semester, I'm like, why do I keep doing this to myself? But then at the end of it, I'm like, man, it was so worth it. I'm every day I'm learning something new. Every day I get to come to a school and I get to just embrace feeling like a student and have somebody teach me something. I have nothing. I know nothing about this topic. Let me sit here and be a sponge.
Yes.
And soak in the information that you want to teach me so that when I'm ready to go do what I want to do with my life, I can spread that as well.
Exactly.
Knowledge is power.
Yes. So, I always had a bunch of cheesy quotes that I would say to you and like other guys in the program. And I'm really big on when you're done learning, you're done living.
Yeah.
And to go through the program, to see the before, the during, the after, for you to have that ability to conquer anything. And you said the word that, this is hard. And we have to choose our hard because it's going to be hard if you do, hard if you don't. So what's going to be the best hard for you? And because doing difficult things to push yourself forward is going to be difficult. And then also not living up to your own expectations for yourself is going to be difficult. I'm a big believer that a lot of depression, there's chemical imbalances, but a lot of depression that people carry, it's from them subconsciously knowing that they're not achieving the best that they could be for themselves.
Yes.
Right. And that they hold themselves back like, oh, I should have done this, but I didn't. Now I feel bad for myself. And it just snowballs. And then the intrusive thoughts of like, oh, you're not good enough. You can't do this. You can't do that. But once you start making these little baby steps, and that's why I tell people it's not about, you're not going to just have some big epiphany where everything changes one day. You have to use every day to work towards that goal. And then in time, you'll get that big change. We have to be working towards it. It's not just going to be like some spark and some Big Bang Theory stuff that happens.
Like we talked about the other day, everybody's waiting for something to happen to them. And they just want it to happen right then and there. It's like, no, you have to work for it every day. But with that being said, now I'm at the University of Colorado in Boulder. I am a senior. I am about 20 credits away from getting my bachelor's. And next year, I will be applying to PA school.
Nice.
And that'll be about 3 years. And then hopefully get into orthopedics. Want to get to orthopedic surgery.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You know, I remember getting a phone call from you about maybe a year and a half ago. And you were telling me about some like new hobbies you were trying. And my mind was so blown. And so the first and foremost, I remember you were asking me about church, man.
Yeah.
And just going from you saying I'm not even interested to you wanting just to know about that. I remember my heart just feeling just so blessed, bro. You know what I mean? Like if I could teach you how to work out and everything, that's cool. But if I could get you to accept Jesus in your heart, man, I was like, dude, that's such a victory. You know what I'm saying? And whether like you go every Sunday, you don't, but just the fact that you would take the time to like pray and talk to a higher power, man, was just such a success. And I remember you saying like you were trying jujitsu classes. And I was like, you know, how do you go from like being uncomfortable to lift weights to go into a group of random people you don't even know and being that vulnerable to like roll on a mat with another dude?
Oh, dude, it was amazing. It was the most like, it was that experience of feeling vulnerable that was so humbling. And like, I craved it because the same thing with working out, it humbled me. The same thing with school, it's humbled me. Like, it made me feel like, well, I'm going out here and doing the work, and I'm competing with myself, and I'm pushing myself to the limit, and I'm learning that I don't have to like brag about it. I can just put myself through it and just have the experience, and then hopefully use that information later if somebody else ever wanted to have that chat and be like, hey man, like I went through this. I can tell you everything that I know, but I'm only one data point. I'm not the end all be all. I am one man in this world. And yeah, do I mean something to a lot of people? Yes, I do. But that means that I'm just one point of perspective. There's tons of people out there that you could talk to. That was the same thing with jujitsu. There's so many different people that have their own game and how they like to roll with people. I was getting my butt kicked, dude, for 8 months all the time, and they kept putting me with this like 300-pound dude. And the day that I like submitted him and finally like conquered it, it was like, okay, now we got it. Now we're figuring it out.
I might not be a black belt on the outside, but I'm a black belt on the inside.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's
the mental fortitude of it. Yeah.
And that's the thing I want to touch on. You said that you started doing things for yourself. And I feel like especially as men today that we're raised to validate ourselves and to find happiness out of external things, things on the outside, right? And what true happiness comes from is really internally. And if we could find the ability to validate ourselves through our souls from the inside and then let it come out into others instead of needing others to pour into us to feel that validation. Because once you have that internal validation for yourself, that's when you have the ability to choose the right people to be around you, because you love yourself to a point that you're only going to surround yourself with like-minded individuals that are either on the same mission as you or they've already accomplished it and could teach you how to do yours, right? And the whole premise of the Reps for Vets program is we're a train the trainer. So we don't just tell you what to do so you have results. We teach you so when you leave here, you could help somebody else. And that's what it's all about, is service work, because someone that only serves themselves are going to have a miserable life.
Yeah.
What keeps us going is helping others. And once you can figure that out, that to be able to give to somebody else is what really helps sustain a positive mindset and that goal of having to be there. Because just as much as like, as in the beginning, you said the fact that I kept showing up for you, right?
Yeah.
There were days where, I started this program. I was going to take my life February 19th. We had the program going up in March. You know what I mean? I was still going through struggles. So having to be here for you guys is what got me out of bed. Yeah. Even if I was having a bad night or whatever, it's like, I got soldiers like I got to take care of. Like I wasn't in the military anymore, but I still had that tank commander mindset where like, I got my Joes, bro. I got to get there. Exactly. So as much as you thought I was helping you, you were helping me, man, because I had to walk a certain walk. I had to do things a certain way. And you and the other guys kept me accountable because I wanted to be there for you, and not just be there for you, but also be a representative to show you that you can get through this. And not only can you get through this, you can thrive after this. Yeah. And that I'm just a little piece. And like you said, like we're just a blimp in time.
Yeah.
A little grain of sand on a beach. You know what I'm saying? In the big picture of the universe and all that stuff. But if I know that I could help you see that for yourself, then that's the beauty, because it's a domino effect and it spreads. You know what I mean? Where you go along your life and you help other people, man. So, I'm so proud of you, of just your accomplishments, and just from where you started from to where you are now. Not just your confidence in attacking things, but just your general self-esteem and your appreciation of yourself, but more so the appreciation of taking on challenges, man. And to just keep them coming. And instead of having the mentality of why me, now you're like, try me.
Exactly.
That's just like, yes, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the grip of it, man. So PA school, Colorado, you're back in the Valley visiting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard any, what does your family feel about everything?
Oh man, this is gonna get me emotional, but in August, my parents came to visit me because I've been begging them to come to Denver, and so they came with me. They stayed for a few days. My dad has not wanted to come back to Colorado because when they dropped me off in 2022, when they helped me move into my place, I mean January of 2022, it's cold, dude.
Yeah.
Like that day it was like -8. I'm trying to move furniture into my apartment. Like my dad was not having it, you know. So I was like, hey, how about you guys come in the summer? Like it's beautiful around this time in August. The weather's perfect. The trees are kind of starting to change a little bit. It's kind of like that fall. So they came, and we went on campus onto my university's campus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to see the look on my dad's face just walking around the campus, and for him to know that I accomplished that, made it all worth it. Like, and this is just the beginning. This is just one step in the journey. Like, University of Colorado isn't the end all be all for me. I still have more school to do, but like seeing him walk and like I'm telling my dad, like, there's 5 libraries on this campus and they're filled top to bottom with books. And I'm excited about it. I'm like, my dad is just like overwhelmed with pride that I went, dude, I know. I'm trying to hold it together right now. That went from just like being at home and playing video games and not caring about myself and just being like, don't worry about me. Like, I'm just going to fade away like everybody else here in the Valley does. Sorry. To, I'm going to become somebody. I'm going to do something with my life because every single person that has cared about me, they have poured everything that they could into me. And it took a long time for me to realize that like I am worth it and I am going to do something with my life. Like genuinely, it feels like God put me on this earth for a mission.
Yes.
And that I had to go through all these struggles first so that I could be prepared for the next steps.
Yes.
Yes. I'm sure like I'm adopted. I feel now my faith in God has strengthened because I feel like my mom is an angel. Like she was sent for me to take care of me. And there was no other woman in this world that could have done that. And forever grateful for my parents for just like never giving up on me. Because they could have walked away because I was a terrible child. I was difficult to deal with. I was a menace. And now I see my mom and I'm like, I'm so sorry I did that to you. I could see the white hairs in her and I'm like, I am so sorry, Mom, that I caused that. But again, to see them like see the fruits of my labor and everything that I've worked for, because it's taken blood, sweat, and tears to get to where I'm at. And it's not going to end and it's not going to stop. I'm going to be a lifelong learner. Absolute joy.
Good, man. You got to have some hustle behind the prayer. You can't have a hustle without a grind. You know what I mean? And it makes it all so much worth it. And just to hear your testimony, it's so inspiring to me. It's inspiring to other people. And for you to be able to like look at your dad and just to see that, like that's such like a big accomplishment and such a big victory. And just for me to know in my heart that the darkest of nights makes the brightest of stars, man. Okay. And a lot of people see that the pain and the things that they went through in their past is a jail sentence. But what it is a sword doesn't become a sword. So it goes through the fire and it's beaten, man. And it sharpens you up. And for you to be able to take that pain and make it preparation for your purpose is the whole thing, man. Like how you said with God, that I believe that, you know, it says right there in the Bible that he knew you when you were knitted in your mother's womb. He knew the plan that he had for your life, and he's got a purpose for you. And the devil has a plan to take you away from that purpose. And I believe that we're born with a little tiny hole in our heart and we're raised to fill it with the world. And once we can realize that we need to fill it with Jesus and that we do have a purpose, man, that's when things start kind of clicking and making sense to us, man. And just to hear from you go from saying, hey, man, like I'm an atheist down at that desk downstairs, to now hearing you like praise God and be grateful for what you have in your life, man. Not only did like I feel like we help save your life, but we help save your soul, bro.
Yes.
And I'm just so grateful that the Lord's put us together and for the position that this ministry has been able to do to help veterans like you and many other veterans to come. Just like you said, it ain't over, man. Like we said, this is just the beginning, right? It's just a beautiful chapter. And I'm looking so forward, man, to seeing where you want to go. And the fact that you want to be a PA because you want to help people and you want to have that life of service. Like it's not about the money to you, man. You know what I'm saying? You have generally a heart. So you went from not even caring about doing your dishes or helping out your parents, and now here you want to go serve a whole community, bro. And I just, even a mosquito gets a pat on the back, bro. And I just hope when you look in the mirror that you're just so proud of yourself, man. And you just keep doing what you're doing and understand that the difficulties, you're either about to be in a storm, you're in a storm, or you're getting out of storm. Storm's always going to come, bro. It's not like you're going to have this perfect life. The only thing we could change as men is how are we going to deal with it when it comes? You know, are we going to let it affect us in a way where it's okay to have emotions, but how we respond to those emotions is the number one builder of your character. And I would say that the Justin that I met that day with the man bun and the 1 year beard to the mullet with the C-bum stash has been such a transformation, bro. And it just makes my heart happy and it motivates me and it inspires me to keep going because we're all human, man, you know, and it gets hard to keep pushing sometimes because the world tries to take you down, especially when you try and serve God, bro. Yeah. So just to have you here, man, I can't say how blessed I am, how proud of you I am, how motivated I am, and how much you inspire me, bro. Because it went from like you were down on yourself and I got you there, but now you're helping me get to my next level too. And that's why it comes full circle. And that's why helping other people is so important because it's going to come back to you. You know, we do it unconditionally from our hearts, but there's a saying that with our obedience, we will bear his fruit, bro. And the Lord will bless that. And as you continue your journey with the Lord, I believe it's John 15, where he says, I am the vine and nothing that leaves me from the vine can grow. Right. But for us to be able, and the ones that separate from him will become dry and thrown into the fire. Right. So for us to bear that fruit, man, we have to trim our plants accordingly. So there's certain things in your life that you know that are holding you back. Those are things you need to prune so you can continue to grow and to seek with him, bro. And he's going to bless it, man. And just continue having trust in him, continue having trust in yourself, and keep putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations and challenging yourself, man. That's really what I think is just so awesome, that you went from not wanting to leave your room playing Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, nerdy stuff to like 8 months of jujitsu in a row, bro. 8 months? Like, dude, that's very impressive. And I understand now you're in school full time. You told me you're volunteering at the hospital, you're working 12s and all that. And you're still making time for yourself the best way you can to grow, man. And I just love that you're taking the challenge. And when it comes to the military aspect of saying, oh, I didn't deserve this, or I didn't accomplish certain things that I wanted to, not just for you, but for anybody watching this, the military isn't the only opportunity that you're going to have in your entire life. The military is literally just a stepping stone to the rest of your life. I have so many friends that are stuck in their old identity of what they used to do. And I was guilty of it too. Like, oh, I was a tank commander. You know, I don't see any tanks rolling down the street. You know what I'm saying? Now, I could be proud I served my country. I did my time. But at the same time, I know God's got something so much bigger for me. And we have so much more of an ability to help people outside of the military than we can in it, because in the military, we're controlled. We're just a number. But now you're an individual. And what you do with your time, you get to invest it how you want to.
Exactly.
So you could do more out of the military than you ever could inside the military.
Exactly.
So I just want to say, man, I'm super proud of you. I'm happy for you, man. And I love you like a brother, man. And I'm just proud to call you a friend.
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have met you. You saved my life. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. And you've helped me save my own too, man. Come on. Come on. Mic drop. Fuck that. Mic drop. During our interview with Justin made a very specific comment that we saved his life. And as much as I take that to heart, and I'm very grateful, and it means so much to me that he feels that way, I just want to let everyone know that we didn't save Justin's life. All we did was we showed Justin that he was at a fork in the road, and he was stuck in one direction, and all we did here at Reps for Vets was show him that there's another direction that he could take, and gave him the ability to put one foot in front of the other. Justin saved Justin's life. And between himself and the glory to God, that's what we want to give it to. So here at Reps for Vets, yes, we save lives, but all we really do is facilitate a different direction to change the path.